Hello and welcome back to Transit Talks, a podcast where we talk about transport issues across the UK and around the world. I'm William, your presenter, and today we're going to be covering the questioning topic of if British Airways is the flag carrier of the whole of the UK, or is it just London it serves? Here's a question for you. If you live in Newcastle, Leeds, Humberside, Norwich, or even Cardiff, and you want to fly to Europe or beyond, how are you going to do it? Are you more likely going to connect through London Heathrow Airport or Amsterdam? Because there's a surprising reality here. In many UK regional cities, the most reliable international connection isn't on British Airways. It's on KLM Royal Dutch Airlines. And today, in today's podcast episode, we're diving into how the Dutch airline built on some now call the UK's unofficial regional network, and why British Airways hasn't matched it outside London. Let's start with the context. For decades, British Airways has been seen as the dominant airline in the United Kingdom. And at London Heathrow, that's absolutely true, with around 335 flights per day operating from London Heathrow Airport by British Airways alone. But here's a twist. The UK isn't just London. There are more than 20 commercially active regional airports across the United Kingdom alone, from Scotland to the southwest of England. Now, look at this. While British Airways consolidates power at Heathrow and Gatwick, KLM quietly built a web of connections from smaller UK cities directly to Amsterdam Schiphol Airport. And that one move changed everything. KLM's entire UK regional success revolves around one idea: feeds the hub. Amsterdam Schiphol is one of Europe's most efficient connecting airports. Instead of operating multiple UK to Europe routes from each regional airport, KLM runs high-frequency short hops to Amsterdam. From there, passengers can connect onward to destinations in continents such as Europe, North America, South America, Asia, and Africa, all through one airport alone. That simplicity is incredibly powerful, and for regional travellers, it often means short connection times, multiple daily departure options, fewer overnight stays in London. Let's talk scale. At times, KLM has operated flights to around 16 UK airports outside of London, including Manchester, Birmingham, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Inverness, Aberdeen, Exeter, Leeds, Bradford, Newcastle, Southampton, Cardiff, Humberside, Norwich, Teesside, and Belfast City. British Airways, however, British Airways outside London only operates from 6 airports in the UK, including Edinburgh, Glasgow, Inverness, Aberdeen, Manchester, and Newcastle. Outside London, its European short-haul presence is far thinner. BA once had a strong regional base. Remember the time when you could fly from Manchester long-haul with BA? Those days are largely gone. Instead, British Airways' strategy has become drive everyone to Heathrow, which makes sense commercially, but leaves gaps in the market, and that's where KLM filled in. So, why didn't British Airways defend their regional territory? Well, there are 2 big reasons. One, Heathrow slots value, with Heathrow slots being among the most valuable aviation assets in the world. Why use them on short domestic or regional European flights when you can deploy them on profitable long-haul routes? And Heathrow is partly why it needs a third runway, because it's running at like 99% capacity. So slots are incredibly valuable, and it's one of the most demanding, profitable airports in the whole entire world. And then the second one is aircraft economics. British Airways retired smaller regional aircraft types. Meanwhile, KLM operates Embraer jets such as the Embraer 175, Embraer 190 and Embraer 195, which are these type of aircrafts can land on shorter and take off on shorter runways and have access to smaller airports across the country. So let's now talk about traveller experience. Imagine you're living in Newcastle and need to fly to New York. You have 2 main options. Option 1 is train to London, train to Heathrow, then New York. Bearing in mind Heathrow is one of the busiest airports in the entire world, so it'll have long security checks, check-ins, and the terminals are massive, so you have to have a long walk to your gate. And the air traffic is a lot, so then you have a higher chance of your flights getting delayed or cancelled. However, option 2 is fly from Newcastle to Amsterdam by KLM, and then fly to New York. For many people, option 2 is easier. This is because Newcastle Airport is closer and far less busier than Heathrow, which means that things like security check-in and travelling to your gate will take less time. As well as this, one's flight may have less chance of getting delayed due to the little air traffic needing to land or take off, quite the opposite of London Heathrow Airport. KLM's regional flights often depart early morning, feeding into mid-morning long-haul waves. This allows passengers to easily transfer from one flight to another without stress. Amsterdam also has single terminal transfers, efficient security checks, strong on time performance, and because of this, that reliability builds loyalty. Here's an important point, however. British Airways is still one of the UK's largest airlines overall, but the specific niche of regional UK to international connectivity, KLM is more visible. It's not that British Airways is weak, it's that their focus is different. KLM builds a spiderweb, while BA builds a fortress. Different philosophies, and there's also alliance strategies differ as well. KLM is part of the Sky Team Alliance, while British Airways is part of the One World Alliance. If you're connecting regionally through Amsterdam, you gain access to partners like Delta. BA's partnership strength is strongest through Heathrow Airport. Although low-cost carriers like Ryanair and EasyJet dominate point-to-point European leisure routes, BA doesn't compete aggressively there from regional airports. KLM's model avoids that direct price war by focusing on connectivity rather than cheap holidays. What happens next? Well, there are a few possibilities. Heathrow expansion would allow British Airways to rebuild regional feeds. Environmental pressures may reduce short-haul flying overall, and regional airports may lean further into foreign hub carriers. If anything, KLM's model feels sustainable as long as Schiphol remains the strong connecting hub. But slot constraints in Amsterdam even are tightening. So the story isn't over. Is KLM the UK's regional airline? No, not officially, but strategically, yes. In many cities outside London, it absolutely feels that way. British Airways dominates the capital, while KLM dominates the connectors. And in aviation, connectivity is power.